The sky was gray, like old ash hanging in the air. Wind passed through broken buildings, making strange, sad sounds. Once, this place had people, noise, and light. Now, it was only dust and silence. But in the middle of this dead world, something strange stood out: a small food stall. Made from old scrap metal, bent pipes, and cloth, it looked weak. But thin white smoke came out from a metal chimney, rising high. The smell of spices, meat, and something warm drifted across the ruined streets. Inside, a man moved slowly, but with purpose. He wasn't young, but not too old. His hair was messy, skin a bit rough, eyes quiet. He wore a simple jacket and gloves with holes in them. His name was not important. No one was left to speak it anyway. He cooked with care. One hand stirred a thick pot, while the other cut vegetables on a rusty metal plate. There was no power, no machines, only fire, wood, and memory. He whispered to himself, "Salt. Just a bit more." Behind the counter, metal bowls were neatly stacked. He didn't serve anyone yet, not today. But he still cooked every morning, like a habit, like a prayer. Then he heard footsteps, quick, sharp, and not human. He turned slowly and saw her, a tall alien girl, skinny, limping, her body covered in scratches. Her skin was blue, glowing softly in the shadows. Her eyes were large and afraid. She stopped at the edge of the stall, breathing hard. "Human," she said in a broken voice. "Smell food?" He nodded quietly. "I have no credits," she said. Her fingers reached into a small bag and pulled out a glowing crystal. "This for food?" The man looked at the crystal. He had seen one like it once. It powered a starship engine. But now it meant nothing to him. He pointed it. "The bench. Sit," she blinked. "You give food?" He smiled slightly. "Yes." He handed her a hot bowl, thick soup with meat and spice. Steam curled into the cold air. She took one bite and froze. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I remember home," she whispered. The man said nothing. He just went back to stirring the pot. But the alien girl looked around, alert. Her ears twitched. "They come," she said suddenly. They followed smell. Before he could ask who, shadows moved between broken cars. 2, 3, 5 more alien girls appeared. Different species. All looked hungry. All smelled the food. One stepped forward. Her body was tall and covered in green armor. She held a blade in one hand. "Human," she growled. "Trade food. Now." Another girl with pink skin hissed, "I was first. I give him necklace. Old tech." A third with white scales pushed forward, sniffing the air like an animal. "I will fight for it. His food is rare, powerful." The human raised a hand, calm. "No need," he said. "There is enough. I cook every day." The armored one frowned. "You give food free?" He nodded. "Yes. Why?" He paused, then said quietly, "Because when I was starving, someone gave me a sandwich." The alien girls went silent. Some blinked, confused. The first blue girl said softly, "You cook for us, like we matter." He looked at her and nodded. The girls sat, one by one, on the old benches. The human served them, bowl after bowl, until their shoulders relaxed and their faces softened. Then the blue girl leaned closer and said, "More will come." "How many?" he asked. She looked at the smoke rising into the sky and whispered, "All of them." He looked up too. The smoke from his chimney was like a signal in the sky, a sign of life, a sign of warmth. Far above, hidden in the clouds, something moved. A small satellite turned its lens toward the stall. Somewhere, far away in orbit, someone was watching Dot and deep in the shadows of the broken city. More footsteps echoed. Hungry ones. Asterisk the next morning. The fire was already burning. The man stood beside his stall, cutting dried roots and rare mushrooms. He moved quietly, calmly like always. But inside, he was worried. More had come in the night. Now, the benches around his food stall were no longer empty. Alien girls, 7 of them, slept close by, wrapped in blankets, curled up like animals in ruins. Different colors, different shapes. Some had fur, some scales. But all looked peaceful now, breathing slowly after full bellies. The human added crushed herbs into the pot and let the smell rise again. It was stronger today, richer. He had found an old spice jar in a collapsed store nearby. He whispered, "Let's see who this brings." An hour later, they came. First, a new girl with long gray horns and bright golden eyes. She didn't speak. She just placed a laser knife on the table, knelt, and waited. Then another taller, with thin wings folded behind her back. She looked at the others, then pointed at the stew. "I heard it," she said. "In the winds. The taste. I heard it." The old blue girl, the first one who had come, stepped forward. "He gives food. No lies, no tricks. Sit. Be calm." "Lee." Newcomers obeyed. The one girl with spikes down her arms kept glancing at the pot like she might attack it. The humans served them, one by one. The food was hot, thick, and spicy. They ate fast. Some cried. Others hummed, eyes closed. One of them whispered something strange in her language. The blue girl translated. She said it tastes like the stars before her planet died. But then trouble came. From behind the rubble, a group of 3 alien girls arrived, armed and armored. They looked different, clean, sharp. Their weapons were ready and their faces cold. One of them spoke loudly. "Human, you will serve us first. We are command bloodline." The peaceful girls stood up quickly. Some hissed, others grabbed sharp tools. "No," said the blue girl. "We came first. We followed rules." The leader of the armed ones laughed. "Rules? In this dead world?" The human didn't shout. He didn't grab a weapon. He simply walked out from behind the counter and stood between them. "This place," he said, "is for those who are hungry and kind. If you come with blades, I have nothing for you." The girls raised their weapons. One aimed a plasma blaster at his chest. "Then we take it." Suddenly, the alien with the wings stepped forward. She moved fast like lightning and stood in front of the human. "No," she said, "you don't touch him." The blue girl followed. So did the one with gray horns. Even the spiked one stood beside the stall, ready to defend it. The human blinked, surprised. They were protecting him. The armed leader stared at them all and slowly lowered her blaster. She looked at the pot again, smelled it. Then something in her eyes changed. She knelt, quietly. Her hands placed her gun down on the dirt. "I want to remember my home again," she whispered. The human nodded, then gently handed her a bowl. The others followed. Soon, even the warriors were sitting like the rest, bowls in hand, silence between them. That night, the man took a metal sheet and painted a sign on it. Nitrogen monoxide weapons. Nitrogen monoxide violence. Just hunger. He nailed it above the stall. Then something else happened. The winged alien girl stepped close to him, while the others rested. She held out a strange bottle with glowing blue liquid. "A gift," she said. "It's memory juice. Trade secret." "Of my kind? For your spice mix?" The man shook his head. "I don't trade recipes." She smiled. "Didn't think so." She didn't leave, though. Instead, she sat near the fire with him. "Why do you do this?" she asked. He poked the fire gently. Because cooking is the only thing I still know how to do. And maybe ... it helps. The girl looked up at the night sky. They'll come. You know, the powerful ones. This food ... it's more than food. He didn't answer. But far away, hidden deep in the mountains, a radar tower flickered alive. A signal had been sent. Translated, it said, human signal. Unknown chemical reaction. Mass alien movement toward ruins. Investigate immediately. And in orbit, somewhere unseen, something answered back. Observation Unit 9 target is the cook. Morning came with golden light, touching the broken rooftops. The food stall was already alive, smoke rising. Scent thick in the air, and benches full. Alien girls sat together, eating, laughing, trading stories in a dozen languages. Some wore armor, others robes, but all looked at peace. The human stirred his giant pot, calm as ever, but deep in his bones, he felt something was about to change. He was right. Low hum filled the air. The alien girls turned their heads as a soft wind blew in from the east. Dust scattered as a golden hovercraft glided toward the stall, its surface polished, its windows dark, symbols of high nobility. Glowing on its sides, it stopped silently in front of the food stall. The door opened. From it stepped a woman unlike the others. She was tall, proud, and elegant. Her skin shimmered like pearl. She wore gold-lined armor and a flowing cape. 4 guards followed, staying back, quiet but alert. Her eyes scanned the camp cold and sharp. I am Lady Vera of the sun-touched bloodline, she said, voice smooth and commanding. I wish to speak with the human. The stall went quiet. The human looked up. He didn't stop stirring. You can speak. Lady Vera walked closer, boots clicking on the cracked ground. Your food has caused disruptions. My house receives daily reports. Our kind travels across galaxies now, for stew. The human gave a quiet shrug. They're hungry. They are abandoning assignments, even royalty. Her eyes narrowed. All for you. The human said nothing. Lady Vera leaned closer. Sell me the recipe. Name your price credits, territory, servants, anything. The other alien girls watched, holding their breaths. The human paused, then said, Not for sale. Her face twitched just for a moment. She waved a hand. One of her guards stepped forward and placed a glowing cube on the table. This alone is worth a city. We will give more. He shook his head. No. Her voice dropped low. Why? The human looked around at the alien girls laughing, sharing food, sitting without fear. Because here, no one needs to pay to feel human. Lady Vera went silent. She stared at him like trying to understand something impossible. Then she said quietly, This will cost you. My rivals are not as polite. She turned to leave, but not before looking at one of this bowls. May I? She asked, almost hesitant. He handed her one. She tasted it. Her eyes widened. Her fingers trembled slightly. She didn't speak another word, just nodded, turned, and left. The hovercraft rose and flew away, vanishing into the sky. Once gone, the camp came alive again. She's from the star houses, whispered one alien. Girl, they never beg. Until now. Another said, You made royalty taste tears. That night, the human sat beside the fire again. But this time, something new lay beside him, a long metal rod with a blinking light. A tracker. Someone had placed it under his stall. The blue alien girl found it when she was cleaning. They're watching, she said. Someone wants you gone. He held the device, thinking. Then they should eat first, he said simply and crushed it beneath his foot. Just then, an explosion echoed in the distance. The winged alien girl landed beside him, panting. A raid, she said. One of the bigger houses is sending troops, not for trade, for takeover. He looked up. Tonight? She nodded. Maybe before dark. The human stood, quiet, steady. He looked at the fire and at the spice rack beside him. We feed them first, he said. Then we talk. Later that evening, shadows appeared over the ridge. At least 30 alien soldiers, armed, armored, and silent, approached the stall. But instead of attacking, they froze as the scent hit them. The human stepped forward with a tray in his hands. No blasters, no threats, he said calmly. Only bowls, only peace. The commander raised a hand. The soldiers stopped. He took a bowl, ate then sat down. The rest followed. The stall fed them all, without fear, without. The man. As the night deepened, the human looked up at the sky. Stars glittered like fireflies. Some of them were moving. Ships. Watching. Waiting. And one message bounced between secret comms, across multiple alien channels. Target refused power, money, and nobility. Reason unknown. Recommending psychological analysis. Continue observation. But deep down, the man didn't care about the reports, the threats, or the visitors. He had a pot to stir. And tomorrow, more mouths to feed. Asterisk, the wind was still that morning. No dust moved. No voices spoke. The food stall was quiet, but not empty. The human stood by the pot, stirring as always. But this time, his eyes stayed locked on the fire. He wasn't just cooking anymore. He was thinking. Yesterday changed everything. First, royalty came, and soldiers. And now, whispers. Whispers from the alien girls. They spoke in soft voices when they thought he wasn't listening. They argued about who should sit closest, who got the first bowl, who saw him smile last. The blue-skinned girl, first to arrive, watched them all with quiet eyes. Something's changing, she said. The man nodded. I feel it too. One of the girls approached. She had green feathers along her arms, a strange pattern over her eyes. Please, she said, make it again. The stew from 2 nights ago, with the yellow spice. He blinked. I don't have any more of that spice. Her face dropped. But I need it. You'll still eat, won't you? He asked gently. She hesitated, then nodded. Yes, but it doesn't feel the same. Another girl stepped closer, a tall one with pale white skin and webbed fingers. When I ate that dish, I remembered my mother's voice. She died before the collapse. A third whispered. When I tasted it, I felt calm. My nightmares stopped. That's when the blue girl finally said it. Your cooking does more than feed. It changes something inside us. The human looked down at his hands. He was just a cook. He used heat, oil, and salt. But somehow, his food touched alien minds. Emotions. It was more than flavor. It was memory. Feeling. Hope. That night, a new visitor arrived, one unlike the rest. She was covered head to toe in gray armor, her face hidden by a smooth helmet. She didn't speak as she walked through the crowd. She simply sat at the counter. When he asked what she wanted, she said 2 words only. Spice, yellow. The human shook his head. Gone. She leaned forward. Synthetic sample. I have it. She placed a vial on the counter. Glowing yellow dust swirled inside. I want you to use it. He hesitated. Why? The armored woman turned her head. Slightly. To test your limits. Behind her, 2 guards watched, not alien girls this time, but machines. Silent, tall, with blinking red eyes. He stared at the vial, took it in his fingers. It smelled sharp, sweet, almost too perfect, but he dropped only 1 pinch into the pot. The smell hit the air instantly. The camp changed. Alien girls stopped moving. Their eyes widened, bodies stiffened. Some dropped bowls from their hands. One girl whispered, "It's back." Another fell to her knees. I can hear her again, my sister's voice. Tears, laughter, confusion. One girl screamed in joy. Another fainted. The human backed away from the pot. What did I just cook? The armored woman removed her helmet. Her face was calm, elegant. Silver tattoos ran along her cheekbones. "You opened a path," she said. "Do you understand what you've become?" He shook his head. She looked at the alien girls, now crowding toward him, eyes wild, voices begging. "You're not just a cook anymore," the woman said. "You're an anchor." He stared. "An anchor?" She nodded. "Your food is memory, healing, addiction. Your hands are the bridge between pain and peace. These girls, they don't just want taste. They want you." The man stepped back. "No," he said. "That's not why I started this. I just wanted to feed the hungry." She smiled. "And now the galaxy may kneel for a bowl." Suddenly, one of the machines beeped. "Warning," it said. "Unstable reaction detected. Biosignal spiking." The girls were crying, laughing, trembling. The scent was too strong. The human rushed to the pot, poured water into it, smothered the fire. The smoke stopped. Slowly, the alien girls calmed. They looked confused. Like waking from a strange dream, the armored woman stood, placing her helmet back on. "You've tasted your power. Now the galaxy will come to taste you." She and her machines walked away, but before leaving, she turned one last time. "You need to decide," she said. "Are you a man with a spoon, or a god with fire?" And then she vanished into the shadows. That night, the human sat alone. The fire was out, the pot was cold, and the stars above him seemed closer. He whispered to himself, "I just wanted to cook." But deep down, he knew the truth. The scent was spreading. The girls were changing. Something far larger was now moving across space, drawn to his flame. Asterisk. The next morning, the fire stayed cold. No smoke rose. No scent danced through the ruined air. Alien girls sat in silence around the food stall. Their eyes were confused, their movements slow. They whispered to each other, glancing at the human. But he said nothing. He just sat by the empty pot, staring at his hands. After last night, everything felt different. That yellow spice. Whatever it was, it had done something terrible. His food had always brought peace, but that time, it almost controlled them. The joy they showed. It didn't feel natural. He clenched his fists. "I won't let food become a weapon," he said quietly. The blue-skinned girl walked over and sat beside him. "They're not angry," she said, "just unsure. You made them feel something they'd forgotten. Some of them liked it too much." He looked at her. "And you?" She smiled faintly. "You gave me hope the first time. That was enough. I don't need magic stew." The man smiled back, just a little. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the quiet. Click. Click. Whir. Everyone turned. A long, thin drone hovered above the food stall. It had 6 legs, a camera lens for an eye, and a faint blue light glowing underneath. It floated slowly, scanning the area. The alien girls stood quickly, some preparing to fight, but the drone didn't attack. Instead, it projected a small hologram. Into the air, a pale-skinned woman in a black cloak appeared in the light. Her face was hidden, but her voice was clear. "Human cook, you have been observed." He didn't respond. "You have created behavioral changes across 19 alien species. Memory activation, chemical bonding, and group loyalty. Your cooking is no longer just food. It is influence." The man crossed his arms. "Is that a problem?" She replied, "Not for me. But others are watching too. Not all are kind." The blue alien girl whispered, "Who is she?" The hologram continued. I represent a neutral research circle. We are not enemies. We only observe. The human asked, then why are you talking to me? Because something is coming. A fleet, not for peace, not for food, for you. He stood slowly. Who sent them? The image flickered. The Grand Union. They believe your food is a threat, that you control minds. They want the source removed. The alien girls gasped. One stepped forward. They can't. He saved us. Another growled. Let them try. We'll protect him. The man held up a hand. Enough. He turned to the hologram. How long do I have? 2 days, the voice answered. They will land with force. Burn everything. Blame nothing. Then the drone powered down and flew away, vanishing into the gray clouds. Returned. One of the alien girls stepped up to him, her green eyes sharp. You should run. Another shook her head. No, he should fight. The winged girl landed beside them, folding her arms. You should decide. The human looked around at the stall he built from junk at the girls who had once come for soup, and now stood ready to die for him. He let out a slow breath. I'm not a soldier, he said. The blue girl nodded. We know. But I won't run either. He picked up his apron, tied it again, and turned toward the pot. If they're coming in 2 days. We feed everyone in one. The girls looked confused. You want to cook? He nodded. If I only have 48 hours left then, I'll make every minute count. We feed as many as we can. Maybe the galaxy should taste what they plan to destroy. He reached into a box under the table and pulled out a dusty, sealed bag. Inside was a handful of dark red spice, something he had kept for years. He opened it slowly. The scent hit the air warm, powerful, ancient. The girls froze. What is that? One asked, eyes wide. The man looked up at the sky, where the stars had begun to fade into morning light. A goodbye, he said softly. Then he lit the fire, and the smoke rose again. But this time, far away, on deep-range scanners. A signal. Peered. Unusual movement. Heat signatures. Mass gatherings near Earth's ruins. The Grand Union's command ship picked up the alert. The captain frowned. Is it a weapon? No, sir, the tech replied. It's a food stall. Asterisk, the last sunrise before the storm was beautiful. Soft golden light touched the ruins like it remembered them. Old buildings glowed for one final time. Dust in the air shimmered like stars. At the heart of it all, the food stall burned brighter than ever. The fire roared. The pot bubbled. And the scent. It filled the wind and called out to the sky. Alien girls gathered hundreds now. They came from valleys, ships, broken colonies, hidden caves. Some limped, some flew, some rode strange creatures. But all came for one reason. To eat what might. Be their last meal. And to stand with the human who gave them hope when there was none. The man stood behind the counter, sleeves rolled, apron tied. His hands moved fast, stirring, seasoning, serving. He didn't speak much. He didn't need to. The line grew longer. And still, he kept cooking. A girl from a water planet offered him pearls. Another from a moon colony gave him her family crest. Third offered something more personal, a memory crystal, with her childhood recorded. He accepted them all, but said the same thing every time. No payment. Not today. Overhead, the clouds darkened. A deep sound echoed. Then dashed ships. Dozens of them. Black and silver, with sharp wings and blinking red lights. The Grand Union fleet had arrived. On the command ship's bridge, the admiral leaned forward. Target confirmed. Cooking unit located. Begin descent. But something odd happened. The ships couldn't land. The open field near the stall, normally empty, was packed. Hundreds of alien females surrounded the cooking station. not as soldiers, but as a living shield. Some sat cross-legged with bowls in hand. Others stood shoulder to shoulder, arms linked. A few simply smiled and pointed up at the fleet, daring them to try. On the ground, the human stirred his final dish. Then, as if sensing the weight above, he picked up an old cum device and opened a channel. "This is a message to whoever's listening up there," he said calmly. "I'm not a threat. I'm just a cook. But if you want to land here, you'll need to get past every person I've fed." He looked up Dot, and for the first time, they looked back. Inside the lead ship, the Admiral frowned. "Sir, our sensors detect no weapons. But bio-readings suggest extreme emotional connection. Aggression level, high. Loyalty index, unstable." The comms officer added, "One of our own soldiers requested a bowl 2 hours ago and defected." She said, and I quote, "His stew made me remember who I was." The room went quiet. The Admiral's hand hovered over the launch command. Then he closed it. "Stand down," he said. "Pull back." On the surface, cheers erupted. Alien. Girls danced, laughed, and hugged each other. Some cried. Others simply sat in silence, enjoying one more bite. The human didn't smile. Not yet. He looked out at the crowd, the ruins, the ships pulling away in the sky. Then, finally, he let out a slow breath and chuckled. The blue-skinned girl came to his side. "You did it?" He shook his head. "No, we did it." She nodded. "So what now?" He looked at the pot, then at the huge group of people now building tents, planting seeds, digging small holes to grow something new. "I think," he said, "we start a second stall, and maybe a garden." Weeks passed, then months. The stall became a village. The village became a beacon. Alien travelers from across the galaxy visited, not for war, but for warmth. Peace meetings were held beside stew bowls. Even the Grand Union sent representatives, not to shut him down, but to eat, to listen, and to learn. The man still cooked, still wore the same old apron, still stirred the same pot. But something was different now. Where once the stars looked down in silence, now they whispered his name, not as a king, not as a god, but as the one who fed them. All asterisk.